Good morning, it is Kim, and I am back to tell my story of narcissistic abuse. And where I left off last time was basically I wanted to come back on and discuss the phases that in narcissistic recovery, the process, and talk about the order in which these things kind of, that you work through it as you're trying to recover. And there are actually a few more steps than grief recovery. And so and then I want to talk about where I think I am, and I want to kind of backtrack and discuss things that were happening in the first few phases as I was going through them. Also, I found this podcast the other day, which was pretty cool. This host has women on, and they tell their story, their entire life story of narcissistic abuse, and he sits and listens, and then he asks very thought-provoking and really good questions, and it's really refreshing for me to hear this. I mean, it's not refreshing hearing what these women have gone through, but it's helping me breathe easier knowing that I'm just not completely and utterly alone. All right, so let me run down the list of phases that someone trying to recover from this fucking nightmare goes through. Okay, so there are actually 7. The first one is devastation, like when you first realize what your life has truly actually been. Phase 2 is discovery. Phase 3 is understanding. Phase 4 is rage, and not anger, like when you're recovering, or you're going through the death phases or whatever. It's anger. No, it's rage. And I've been raging, and I'm in the midst of rage right now, and I'm talking white noise, red fucking rage. Okay, then comes depression and sadness, and then the overcoming phase, which would be number 6, and then finally the last phase would be evolution. So I'm anywhere near the end of this. And like I said, it's a fucking nightmare, and you're basically doing it alone. And so I do hope that I'm able to take everything that I'm talking about and everything that I'm going through and use it to help someone, but I'm not there yet. All I can do right now is honestly try and keep my head above water. And I mean it's a recovery of fucking catastrophic mental torture and abuse and emotional abuse, and you have to go through this shit alone pretty much because of the dynamics of everything. And then also not knowing about any of this until recently, but I'm just sponging up as much information as I can on all of it, because it does help to know that there's a word for what I'm experiencing right now, which, as I just said, is pure unadulterated fucking rage. Okay, so I'll get back to that momentarily. So the first phase, you start out in devastation, and that is exactly, it's like, I don't know how other people would describe when they fucking woke up. I don't want to say wake up, but I don't know. It's like all of it, almost it's like the world stopped. And I think if I was alone and my mouth just dropped open when the big motherfucking light bulb in the sky went on, and I realized I had just cracked the motherfucking code of the abusive, narcissistic women in my family and all that they had done. And and in that moment, there was like, it was conflicting emotions, because on the one hand, I was like, I just cracked the motherfucking code, bitches. Guess what? I'm smart. Guess who's smart? And I've never been allowed to say that out loud for fear of making someone feel bad about themselves, because Kim knows something that nobody else knows or whatever. But guess what, bitches? I cracked the code. Coupled with, oh my God, I can't breathe because what the fuck? I don't know who to talk to. I didn't know where to turn. I couldn't talk to my mother. And then as I'm going through listening and learning and listening and learning, I kept thinking, because things would pop up here and there, and I'd be like, oh God, I'm about to learn that I'm a narcissist as well. And I mean, like, and you can't go confront anybody because of, obviously, and who do you even talk to? And I couldn't even, like, my sentences were jumbled, even trying to explain any of it. But also, just now, once you know, you can't go backwards. You cannot go back. And every single thing my mom says to me, I'm talking every single sentence out of her fucking head that is directed at me, is an example of one of the tools in the narcissistic toolbox for manipulating, destroy, blah, blah, blah. I only have text message conversations with my mother or recorded audio conversations with my mom, because I will have a million amazing examples to share, with easy ones too. But I mean, it's just like this bitch, and now I'm getting, like, at first, another part of the problem of devastation is knowing that the only way, based on all of the advice that, and all of the therapists and everything that I've listened to and learned and heard or whatever, states that you cannot, confronting the narcissist isn't going to help. Your mother is not going to be a part of your recovery. And oh shit, now I've learned my sister has like all the women in my family, and like knowing that I knew I would have to cut them all off. I can't, there's no other option, because they're all like, they're like fucking feeding frenzy. I don't know what I want to call it, but they have all like banded together, and it's just, I can't. And these are women that I grew up loving, or at least I love them with every bit of my heart and soul and genuine, true nature as an empath. I love them, hoping that my fantasy would be fulfilled, I guess, that they would love me back as much as I love them. But now I'm slowly because I've been raging, actually. Like, I've been raging. I know right now I can't, I don't ever want to be around my sister again, because she is a pathological, compulsive, fucking covert narcissist, lying. She's very dangerous. But I'm raging so hard that I absolutely cannot be around her, because if I am around her, I will probably go for her throat. I want to get my hands around her fucking throat, and I keep having dreams that I do get my hands around her throat, and she slowly stops fucking talking, because all of her talking, it's all lies, and I slowly put that bitch to sleep forever, and then it's peaceful silence, and it's not a nightmare. It's actually a pleasant dream, and I wake up feeling rested and refreshed, and that's fucked up. So I know I can't be around her. But it's so painful, because my mom had me when she was 15, and then my aunt my grandma got pregnant late, and then so my aunt's only 4 years older than me, and then my mom's got three sisters, and I have a sister and cousins, and like it's the women in our family, and granted, it was fucked up, dysfunctional, physically, mentally abusive, blah 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 blah, but I have to cut out my family of origin. It's the only network of anything. It's all I've ever known. And I can't have them in my life anymore, because they can't be in my life anymore. And so the feeling of I finally figured out why we're all so fucked up, coupled with, oh my god, now I have to never be around the women I love again, it hurts. And honestly, like, when I've listened to so many podcasts and so many therapists, I don't think that's something that's talked about very often, is the hurt in your heart. It's as if your mother and your sister and all your aunts and everyone dies at the same fucking time. And it hurts so bad. And I don't know when I will see a ray of sunshine in my life at all. But right now, I'm fucking pissed.